जन्माधस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश् चार्तेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मूयन्ति यत्सूरया तेजो वारिमृदं यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा तं न स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि. So, Haribol. Anyone wants to speak a little bit of what we remember from yesterday? Or we can move on. What do you think? Should move on, huh? Okay, so yesterday we talked about meaning in regard to this universe. And also a little bit of an idea about spiritual creation, universe. And the day before that we talked about what is the meaning of Janma. We talked about spiritual birth and the spiritual journey. So today I want to go a little bit backtrack and then also to move forward and talk about different perspective. Like the first day we were talking about Janmadasya Yatonvayad, meaning the creation, maintenance and destruction of the manifested universes. This is referring to this world, this universe. But yesterday we also talked about how this is the lower creation. And it's the Jad Jagat. Jad in Sanskrit means matter, wood, or anything that's inert, doesn't have its own consciousness, like plastic chair. It's not aware. Or even your body is not aware. But within your body the soul is present, and also many other souls are present. These are called Vibhinangsa Tattva. This is the non-different expansion of Krishna in infinitesimal part. The infinitesimal part and parcel of Sri Krishna. So this is from the higher world. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhumir apo nalo vayu kam mano buddhirevacha ahankara ityangme bina prakritir astada. So when we talk about Janmadasya Yato in relation to this world, which is like the lower creation, the Janmadi, it's referring to these 8 things. Okay, bina prakritir astada, Krishna says in the Gita. So what are these 8 things? Bhumir, earth, apo, nalo vayu kam. So this means earth, fire, water, air, and space or ether. These are the 5 gross elements that we see all around us. Everything we see is a combination of these different elements. Earth, fire, air, ether. Okay? And then there's 3 subtle elements. Kam, mano, buddhirevacha. And ahankar. So, man, the mind, buddhi, intelligence, and ahankar, the ego. So, this is a very complicated subject. In Bhagavatam, as we go along, we'll learn about each of these specifically and how they manifest. But in the next verse, Krishna says there is something higher. Apariyam itastvanyam prakritim virime param jiva bhuta mahabaho yayadam dharyate jagat. So Krishna says there is something higher than this. This world is called prakriti. It means material nature, and it is given in a feminine sense. Prakriti, like nature, is in the feminine case, like mother nature. And then Krishna says there is aparayam, a higher. Aparayam means something beyond, higher. And what is that principle? This is also coming, has feminine side, also masculine side. Masculine side of the spirit is called Purush. And this is what is like, has qualitative sameness with God. But then our other side is the serving side, which is the nature of Shakti. Shakti is also one kind of Prakriti. So there's Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti. One is material nature and one is transcendental nature. One is Mahamaya, and one is Yogamaya. So Mahamaya is what is the energy of the Lord that is controlling and maintaining this material universe, and then Yogamaya is the energy of the Lord in the spiritual world. So the Jiva is Jiva Bhuta Mahabaho Yayadam Dharyate Jagat. We are in this world of matter, but we are Jiva, soul, consciousness, and we are a higher principle. So when we are talking about this verse in regard to this universe, it's talking about it's like the shadow of the absolute truth, Param Satyam. The absolute truth, its shadow side. Where there is light, there's also darkness. But the darkness is coming from the light. They are linked. Like there is good and evil, or light and darkness, shadow and substance. So the substance is actually the spiritual world. So why Jiva Goswami is now going, we're going to read or hear, we're going to hear the purport of Jiva Goswami in reference to the higher nature. What is the substance? So for 2 days we've been talking about mostly in this realm, these ideas. But now we're going to talk about it in the higher realm. That's why we give importance now to this word Adi, Janmadi. And I just wanted to mention before that, because we hadn't said it before. So Vedanta Sutra and Srimad Bhagavatam, they have very close relationship. The different Vaishnava Sampradayas, they say if you don't have a commentary on Vedanta Sutra, you're not authorized. So in our Sampradaya, we say the natural commentary of Vedanta Sutra is the Srimad Bhagavatam. Because Vyasadeva himself wrote Srimad Bhagavatam as the sum and bonum of his spiritual wisdom after he received that instruction from Narad Rishi and that guidance in his heart. He meditated on Krishna Lila and everything manifested in his heart, and then he manifested the Srimad Bhagavatam. So therefore, in the first verse of Brahma Sutra, it said, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. So Atato means therefore. And it's actually said twice, Atato, with emphasis. Therefore, Brahma means awareness, consciousness, or the Supreme Spirit. And Jigyasa means inquiry. So therefore now I am inquiring into consciousness. So this is something that most material education skips over. That's why it's the very beginning of spiritual education, inquiring into what is Brahman. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. So Gurudev and our Acharyas say, what is the meaning of therefore? Why do we say Atato, therefore? Because what is the nature of a student? By his own desire, most people, they go to school because the parents send them, or it's like their tradition, everyone else is doing it. But in spiritual life, we choose to go to spiritual school. And generally why someone comes, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, why different types of people come. For knowledge, gyan, or for some benefit, or for some artha, some wealth, or sense gratification. But ultimately they have some sukriti, some pious merits. But therefore is used in the sense of when we become exhausted from wandering in circle of the cycle of birth and death, material existence. Then when the jiva becomes exhausted from this is like a labor of struggle and suffering. That's why the ashram is called a place where there is no suffering or anxiety or labor. It's like we are not having to... You can put it back up as you like. So shram means when we are working very hard and so much sweat comes. That's shram. And ashram means vigata shram, where there's no anxiety or no this difficulty and suffering and disturbance. So in the same way, what we are saying is, if you become exhausted from this type of suffering and competitive spirit in the material world where we're all struggling to live and compete and struggle with others, then you come to Sadguru. Because when you think, who am I? What is the purpose of my life? Then you start to look for who can teach me and help me learn that. So therefore this Atato Brahma Jigyaso is relating to the need for Guru, and this is also given in Sastra by Vyasadeva. He says, Tasmad gurung prapaddeta jigyasu shreya uttamam shabde pare chanishnatam brahmani upasamashrayam. So this means, tasmad also means therefore. So it means, therefore I approach Sri Guru. Therefore means after I have become exhausted, I am tired. For millions and millions of lifetimes, we are fighting for survival. This is like the basic Darwinian theory, that we have to fight to survive. And if we become at some point like, I want to search for another answer, another way of living, instead of just fighting, it's like at every moment, everything is conspiring to destroy us. The whole universe, everything is wearing us down towards death as soon as we are born. Everyone is trying to control us, everyone is trying to exploit us, manipulate us. And in the meantime, we're drowning in the ocean and we're trying to hold on to little pieces of wood and stay afloat. And trying to make relationships and have some love and friendship in this world. But ultimately, everything is pulling us down. So when we become exhausted from this struggle, then we seek like an oasis, a shelter where we can, like the boat of Guru's mercy. And we call out to Krishna for help. If we sincerely call out to God, please help me get out of this miserable cycle of samsara, then He will send Sri Guru, that means His own messenger. Therefore it says Tasmad, therefore. We pray and then Krishna will send Guru. Tasmad Gurung Prapaddeta. Prapaddeta means I surrender to Guru. Why? Jigyasu Shreya Uttamam. So we're saying Atato Brahma Jigyasu. Why am I praying Jigyasa? Inquiry is like one type of submission. Oh Sanatan, please tell me how you do Archan. You do very nice arti. Please teach me. I'm inquiring and I'm supplicating before you. So if we want to really learn, it's told that we should take shelter of Guru with humility. That's why Krishna says in the Gita, Tadvidi, you know this verse? Tadvidi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. But to receive this knowledge, you must have three qualities. You must follow three principles. One is pranipatena, you surrender, you offer obeisance. Nama or obeisance means I surrender unto you. Please help me. I'm praying to you for help. I am helpless and you can help me. Then pranipatena pariprasna, then inquiry. And sevaya. Without service, the heart of Guru will not melt. So we serve Sri Guru. How do we serve Guru? We serve Guru because Guru is showing us you serve Krishna. He is not saying you serve me. He's saying, I'll teach you how to serve Krishna. Otherwise, Guru is bogus. Serve Krishna, serve the Bhaktas. So therefore, that's before we start the Bhagavatam, because the Bhagavatam is related to Vedanta Sutra. So now we're going to go to the second Vedanta Sutra verse. The first sutra is Atato Brahma Jigyasa. And to do that Jigyasa, you have to approach Guru. And Guru has to be Brahma Upasamashrayam. That's the last line. Brahmanya Upasamashrayam. That means he himself is fixed in Brahman. That means he is fixed in spiritual realization. He is above the pull of his senses. He is not always running after sense gratification because he cannot control himself. He is situated. He is like Buddha. Or like he is beyond that state of the pull of material nature. Krishna says in the Gita, he will be in this world, but at the same time he will be like the swan. He will be in the water, but the water will not stick to him. Or he will be like the lotus petal, which will be above the surface of the water. It's not getting wet. So in the same way, Guru is like this. He will have one foot in this world to help us. But he himself is situated on a higher platform of knowledge. He is in knowledge of himself, the soul, in knowledge of Bhagavan Krishna, in knowledge of what is Maya. This is Sambandha Gyan. Sambandha Gyan means knowledge of this world, material nature, Maya, knowledge of the self and other selves, and knowledge of Bhagavan, or the Supreme Absolute Truth. So this is the nature of Guru. So we approach that Guru and then we follow this process, and through him we receive transcendental knowledge. Therefore we can pray this verse together in the beginning. Om Ajnanatimarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I pray to Guru, who has the torchlight of divine knowledge, and with this he leads us out of the darkness of our ignorance. So then the second verse of Vedanta Sutra is Janmadasya Yata. So we can see how they're related very clearly because Janmadasya Yata is right here. The very first lines of the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 1, verse 1. Janmadasya Yata. So today we're going to talk about what is Adi-rasa. So here we have Adi, and we said before there's two kinds of Adi. Adi, one is like the first thing. What is the very primal root? Like we say, what is the verse we talk about Krishna when we are establishing that He is supreme? We say, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachid Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adi Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Means, your question?
Yeah. Anytime meaning Adi like so forth, I see only when Adi going in this word in the end.
Yeah.
But when Adi going in the beginning, this time I always see everywhere that Adi means first.
And we see it here. Adi Kavaye, the original created being, and Janmadi.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a good point. So then, when we pray to Krishna, we say He is Anadir Adi Govinda. So it uses it twice. He is saying the first of all firsts, the very first, Anadir Adi. And Sarva Karana Karanam means of all different causes, He is the original cause. He is not caused by anything else, and He is the first of all different first causes. So then the question comes here, what is the meaning of this word Adi in the beginning? One is and so forth, but the other side is talking about Adi-rasa. Okay, so Adi-rasa, now we need to talk about what is the meaning of rasa. So rasa has Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which Rupa Goswami gave. He teaches how there are 5 primary rasas and 7 secondary rasas. Okay, so the 5 primary rasas are Santaras, Dasyaras, Sakyaras, Vatsalyaras, and Madhuryaras. And then there are 7 secondary rasas. Okay, so the secondary rasas, they're called the Gona ras. There's the Mukhya ras. Mukhya means the primary, and the Gona means secondary. So the secondary rasas are Hasya, laughter. So what is the meaning of ras? What do you think? What is like the meaning of ras, Sanatan?
Ras?
Yeah, what do you think of when you hear the word ras?
Like taste in some relationships between objects and personalities.
Perfect. Top marks. So ras, it means like when Pruji cooks very nice prasad, this is called rasoigar. Kitchen is called rasoi in Hindi. It means where you combine rasas. Because you take like masala, jeera masala, hing masala, or sugar. Sugar is also rasa. So you're mixing all these different types of rasa, then this is rasoigar. Means rasa house. Kitchen is in Hindi called rasoigar. God is house, and rasoi is where you're mixing rasa. So this is like the house of tastes. Right? So that's why you said rasa means one kind of taste. But this also means like a mellow, which is a subtle word. It's like hard to say what is mellow. In the dictionary, we say mellow means it's an adjective, which is especially of like a sound or a taste or color, some type of mellow. So some kind of taste or some type of humor. Humor, one meaning of humor is like laughing and joking. But if you go to the old meaning of humor, like Old English, it means like a mood or state of mind. So this is the meaning of rasa, humor, right? So when we say the 5 primary rasas, first is Santa. Santa means neutrality.
Wait a second, I need to pick up really pack word to explain. This is very important because
Rasa.
Some kind of состояние ума, да, то есть состояние, то есть состояние умонастроения, как бы грубо говоря, вот о чем говорит. состояние даже не умного настроения, а состояние сознания. Да? То есть, как бы, если в данном примере, sorry, just one minute. Если try my best.
So rasa means, it can mean a state of mind or a mood, like an emotion. Or it can also mean like a state of being almost. Or it can mean a taste. So it'll become more clear when we give examples of what it is. So we also say rasa can mean a relationship. So the mukhya rasa, the 5 primary rasas, they're referring to different kinds of relationships with different kinds of moods. Okay, so the first one is santa, which refers to a neutral mood. If you don't know someone, generally you have a santa ras towards them, like a stranger. Then if you meet them and make a relationship with them, this may change. They may become your friend. And this is called like sakyaras. So neutral can also mean like if you are like a servant. Actually, this is more like dasyaras. But like if you're in a, basically it means a neutral relationship. No, dasya is servant. But like we see, like if you are like in a government job or something, or you're in like a working job, it's like there's some relationship, but there's nothing like, no so much attachment is there. No personal relationship. Okay, so then the second one is santa, then dasya. Dasya means service. So we see many kinds of service. Many people are serving out of a sense of duty for nation or for family. Or they, actually when anyone serves, generally you should look, what is the motive behind their service? Why are they serving? What is the bhav? They want to get something. And most people, they think, okay, I have to work, so I have to do some service to get some money, so I can give for my family or maintain my family or get what I want in this life. So we see, when we talk about jiva, the nature of the jiva is to serve. And when we're in this world, the nature of the soul, the embodied soul, he has to serve something in order to live. If he's not serving, it means he's in a very low consciousness. Like if you look, the jiva can also become embodied in a stone. Because the jiva is spirit, but it gets different forms. So if the jiva is like in a form of stone, it's like he's in a santa ras form. He doesn't have so much developed consciousness. But as soon as consciousness starts to develop, then you have to do some dasya ras. Dasya means you have to do some kind of service in this world. And that means it's like very deeply connected to the nature of the soul. Because even a stone, if you're in a stone body, what is that stone doing? It's like part of a mountain, giving some minerals, or they're breaking it and making cement, or they're using it for building something. So even a stone is serving in this world. Everything and everyone has to serve. So that's why dasya ras is like the bedrock, the foundation. Like Mahaprabhu would say, actually all the rasas and all the jivas, they're in some form of dasya ras. Even in Madhurya ras, the highest one, which is representing romantic love, still they're Radhika's servants, they're called servants, dasi, maid servants. Because they're still engaged in service. And Krishna himself is doing service. He is taking the cows to graze. He is, bringing Nanda Maharaj's shoes on his head. Krishna himself is engaged in service. So we cannot alienate ourselves from service. So the question is, who do we want to serve? That is our choice. We can serve dog or we can serve God. So naturally, if we are intelligent, we think, I should try to serve the higher thing, the higher principle, and then I can actually be more happy. If we are serving something that is causing us misery, then what is the use? We have to serve, so we might as well serve something high. And Krishna, because he is the embodiment of all bliss and pleasure, he is rasovaisaha. All rasa is within Krishna, and all rasa is nourished by Krishna. So in the Upanishad they say, Eko sa sarvaga Krishna idya. Krishna alone, Eko. Ek means one. So Krishna alone, he is giving all kinds of pleasure and nourishment to all created beings. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that whoever is worshipping any demigod or any idol in this world even, they do not have the power to give the benefit of that worship, the result. Only I am giving. So that's why he says, Bhoktaram Jagyatapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. In Gita, Krishna says, actually, I am the enjoyer of all kinds of sacrifice. Whether you are offering it to a demigod, sun god, moon god, Indra, anyone, still I am the enjoyer. So ultimately, Krishna is taking everything. That's why we say, Jivera Swarup Hoy Krishnera Nitya Das Krishnera Tatashta Shakti Bed Abed Prakash. That the nature, the Swarup of the Jiva is to serve Krishna. Because service means a type of action, endeavor. And Krishna is Bhoktaram Jagyatapasam. So whatever service you are doing, ultimately you're doing to Krishna. But Krishna says you should do it, if you want to be really happy, you should do it according to the proper process. People may say, I'm not serving God. Even the atheist is serving God. Even the impersonalist who is saying God is impersonal, God doesn't exist. The Mayavadi, the Buddhist who is saying there is only nothing. Ultimately, everyone is serving in some way. And ultimately, since Krishna is absolute truth, they are serving this principle. But if you want to be happy, you should think, I should serve directly, not indirectly. So therefore, Krishna says, don't yajanti avidhi purvakam. Most people are serving according to avidhi. Avidhi means improper method. And vidhi means the proper method. So we want to serve according to the proper method. So this is the basic idea of dasya-ras. Since everyone and everything has to serve, we should endeavor to serve the highest principle. And then we can achieve the highest happiness, bliss. So then after dasya-ras comes sakya-ras. Sakya-ras means the mood of friendship. Like Krishna has with the cowherd boys, or if you have a very close friend, this is friendship. Then this is like the first level of intimacy. You may have to work somewhere, but you don't have an intimate relationship with the boss maybe. But then if you start making a friendly relationship with him, then you start entering some sakya-ras. So I don't want to go into this 5 rasas very deeply now, because it's something that we'll learn when we study slokas just about these rasas. But now it's like a brief overview. Like when we're learning things, first we learn, this verse is like a very brief synopsis, summary of creation, maintenance, destruction, the universes, absolute truth. Everything is in this one verse, but it's like a small seed. Then the whole Bhagavatam will describe how does the creation happen? How does the maintenance happen? All these different things will be described. So first we're giving a very general idea of rasa. And then later on we'll go deeply, because in Roy Ramananda Samvad there's a very nice explanation of these different rasas. So we can go into these very deeply also, because it's very important to understand. So after Sakya-ras, friendship, then comes Vatsalya-ras. So Vatsalya-ras is more deep connection than Sakya-ras. So what is the meaning of Vatsalya-ras? Yeah. So if you have like the mood of a father or a mother towards the infant, the child, or the son or daughter, then this is Vatsalya-ras. So naturally the connection of the parent to the child is very strong. It's like coming from their own body. They have so much love and affection for it. They maintain it like it's themselves, or even more important than themselves. And one thing that's important to say, unless we have some Vatsalya-ras, we won't be able to deepen our relationship with Guru and Vaishnavas also. Vatsalya-ras is like mamata. Mamata in Sanskrit means possessiveness. Like the idea that this is mine. This is like almost non-different from my own self. So like a mother gives birth to a child, it's like her own body. For 9 months she created it with the food and energy and she was nurturing it. And when it's born, she gives it her own milk, which is like a manifestation or transformation of her blood. So the child is like so dear to the mother, and it's said that when you become a parent, it's like now you're an adult. So what does it mean if you're an adult? It means you're mature now. And we talked about the 6 transformations in the life cycle: birth, growth, and giving byproduct. So when you have Vatsalya-ras, it means there has to be some kind of thing that is created by you. Or you are not creating it necessarily, but helping it come into being. And you have a possessive mamata for it. So they say until you have something like this for something, you're not really matured, you're not really an adult. And if we don't have a child, and it also means one other thing, it means you think that object is more important than your own maintenance, your own self. The mother will give her life if she has to make the child survive. The father may also give his own life for the life of his child. That means you place more importance in the child than in your own self. So how can we develop that Vatsalya mood for our own Guru even, or for our Vaishnavas, those who are helping us? Or also we should develop that Vatsalya mood toward the temple. That temple is also, I am part of the temple and the temple is part of me. And I want to help maintain the temple, to clean the temple, to serve the temple. This is very important to me, like my own thing. That's why Prabhuji says so many times, there's two kinds of basic mood in like spiritual life. And one is Tadiya mood and one is Madhya mood. Tadiya mood means, I am yours. This is like the mood of the child to the mother. When we say God the Father, we're in the mood of the child. God is my father. And this is true. Krishna is the father and mother of everything. God is ultimately the father and mother of everything. But our goal is to go beyond that mood of Tadya, that I am yours, that I am like your child, to the mood of Madhya, you are mine. And if you can develop this Madhya mood that you are mine, this is the beginning of Mamata. Mamata means this deep possessive love and affection. And that Mamata gives you Adhikar for Prem, pure love. That's why Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu tells Mamata Premata Adhikar. That Mamata gives you the Adhikar, the qualification for attaining divine love. So that's why Vatsalya Ras, or the parental rasa mood, is coming before Madhurya Ras, which is the romantic level, romantic love. So once this Vatsalya Ras matures more and more, then we can enter into the highest type of relationship, which is Madhurya Ras. And Madhurya Ras means, Madhurya literally means sweetness. Like in Lithuania, we have Madhuri Kunj, right? So it means where so much sweetness is present. Why is it Madhuri Kunj? Because Seva Kunj is there. So automatically there's Madhurya Ras, Madhuri Kunj. Okay? So Madhurya means, like, you can imagine the most sweet thing, the sweetest thing of all sweet things. Or whatever is most dear to you in the world. Like honey. Madhu is also the meaning of the Sanskrit word for honey. So madhu and madhurya. So sweetness, if you think of honey, honey is very sweet. Obviously. And if you think about this world, why honey is so nice? Because if you think about what honey is actually, it's a very special thing. So the mother nature, she creates so many things in this world, right? The mountains, it's everything that is, we can see, valleys, rivers, mountains. But what is like the most beautiful thing she's creating? The most sweet and fragrant? She makes all the different flowers, right? They're all different colors, all different shapes, so beautiful. If you give someone like a room full of flowers, you know, their heart will melt for you. That's why we offer flowers to Krishna, because it represents love, affection, madhurya. So Mother Earth, she manifests these flowers, and then her servants, the bees, they go and they collect the essence of the flower. The essence of the flower is its rasa, and that is fragrance, like a mellow, a rasa, and it's also like a sweetness. If you go to the pollen of a flower, it's sweet, but you cannot directly taste it so much. So the bees, they go and they collect this, and then they eat it. And then they go back to their hive and they offer it to their queen, their Ishvari. So we'll learn more about this when we memorize the 3rd verse of Bhagavatam. Then it becomes honey. And then it becomes the most sweet. So what is that? Why is it so special? Because in the 3rd verse we're going to memorize this one after we do the next one and then the next one. Nigama kalpataror ghalitam phalam sukamukad amrita dravya samgitam pibhakta bhagavatam rasam alayam muhuraho rasika bhavuka. So it says Sukadev Goswami is like a parrot. He ate the fruit and then the fruit became more tasty. So the bees or the bird, the parrot, They're tasting this rasa, tasting this nectar, and they understand how sweet it is. And then they give it in service to Guru and Vaishnavas or to Krishna, and then they distribute it for everyone. That's why prasad is more sweet than bhoga. If you take like an apple from the field and you eat it for yourself, there's not so much sweetness. But you offer it to Krishna, you offer it to Guru and Vaishnavas, and they give you something back. That has so much more sweetness. But why is the sweetness there? Because some kind of love and affection is there, relationship is there. It's like if you go to the store and you buy mangoes, and you bring them back to your wife and and the children, and you feed them to your wife, or just even not your children, your lover. Then how much sweetness is there? You give a mango to your lover and she's eating the mango and also giving you some. Then this has so much more sweetness. So when you enter Madhurya Ras, you have a relation with Krishna like his lover. And you offer it to him like he is the beloved, the lover. And then if he has tasted it himself and given it back to you, some remnants, like if you're, like we see in this world, many people, they have, it's like a low example, but if you were to like offer some cake or something you cook, you give it to like whoever is your favorite person in the world, like the most beautiful supermodel or actress or your actor or superstar or sports player, and they take it with love from you and they eat it and then they leave something for you. It's like, wow, that's so special. Or you give them some cloth and they give you the cloth they wore. It's like you hang it on your wall. Oh, this jersey was worn by this football player. You know, this has more nectar, more rasa. So this is the idea of Madhurya Rasa. Madhurya Rasa, it's like honey. There is some extra specialty to it because the earth is giving the flower, the bee is taking the nectar from the flower and creating honey, and then you are tasting the honey. So, but what is specifically meaning of Madhurya Rasa? Madhur is honey, but Jiva Goswami teaches Madhurya Rasa is also Adi-rasa. The first mellow, the first mood, the first cause of all causes. That is Adi-rasa. And that is specifically this mellow of like romantic, like love. The love between ultimately a man and a woman is represented, or the goddess and God. In the supreme spiritual world, there is the divine couple. And the divine couple, they are called the divine moiety. Moiety means two halves of something that are inseparable. Like a chickpea. If you take the husk off, the skin off a chickpea, you'll see it's two halves. But it's one chickpea. So Radha and Krishna, they are described as one. But they have separated into two so that they can taste the exchange of Madhurya Rasa. This is the idea of Adi-rasa. And Jiva Goswami teaches about this deeply in his Krishna Sandarbha. So that's why we're going to learn about his translation and word by word meaning of this verse given by Jiva Goswami in his Krishna Sandarbha in the 190 Anuched, the 190th part of the Krishna Sandarbha from text 15. He teaches the whole meaning of this verse from the idea of Adi-rasa. So it's very special. And the whole endeavor of our spiritual life is to try to understand this ultimate sadhya or goal of how to serve Radha Krishna in Adi-rasa. Because what is the ultimate substance behind truth? And that is love and beauty. Without love and beauty and relationship, nothing has any meaning. If you look at any people in this world and you ask them, what do you want in life? People have many different ideas what they want in life, but if they don't have some family or some love or relationship, for them everything is like dry. That's why Gurudev would say, someone can fast for some time, but if they have no love in their life, it's like their life is completely useless. And we know ultimately What is the original kind of love? That kind of love is that which is between lover and beloved. The love of a mother for the child is not as intimate as the love between partners, loving partners. Why is that? Because the relationship is more reciprocal almost. The child is like an infant. It doesn't understand the mother fully, and it's receiving the love, but it cannot give as much as the mother is giving the child. But if you have the lover and the beloved, they are both in the highest kind of love between Radha and Krishna, who are the ultimate archetypical source of all divine love. The relationship of their love is that there is competition. What is the highest kind of competition? Is the love between a lover and beloved, because what is that competition? How can I give happiness to the beloved in a greater and greater extent? And the beloved is trying to give more and more happiness to the lover. So then there is this competition between Radha and Krishna of trying to give more and more enjoyment or bliss to each other. And this is the divine competition. And this is creating this like ever increasing loving mellows or rasa. So this is a very basic understanding of Adi-rasa, and we'll go further and further into it. But I just want to go directly to what Jiva Goswami is teaching, and then we'll recite the verse together and try to start memorizing it. So now we'll go beyond Adi-rasa and we'll start talking about Jiva Goswami's word for word here. So we see Janmadasya Yato. So Jiva Goswami in the 15th verse of his Krishna Sandarbha Anuched 190, he teaches that, first he talks about Yato Anvayad. Here we can see Yato Anvayad. From whom? So he says, what is the meaning of Yato Anvayad? So he says that this means Yato...
how much you will take?
Time.
Yeah.
Like 10 minutes. Or we can pause now. It's only 10 minutes to 6. You have to go.
No, I think Kirtan is Kirtan.
Yeah, but every day Kirtan, because Kirtan goes till 7:30. So 1 hour Kirtan is enough. And every day Kirtan is starting at 6:20, 6:30.
I think 6:10, like 6:30.
Okay.
But this is not means that we come in a little bit prepare
No.
also necessary.
Okay, but anyone who wants to go, we can go also. But I think let's go for 10 more minutes. If we want, we can memorize it tomorrow. Or if we want, we can stop now and memorize it and hear about this tomorrow. Jiva Goswami's Krishna Sandarbha. You want to hear Krishna Sandarbha now? Or we can memorize it now? Maybe this is already enough for today. Huh? We memorize it now.
No.
Or hear now.
Explain.
Okay, so we'll hear Jiva Goswami explanation of this, and then if we want, we can memorize it tomorrow, or we can memorize it now if we still have time. But I think we'll memorize it tomorrow. Okay? So first he says, actually we've been going for about almost 1 hour now. So that's pretty good. So Yato Anvayad. So Yato means from whom? And Jiva Goswami is saying this is Krishna, obviously, we know. Satyam Param, absolute truth is Krishna. Krishna means the all-attractive reservoir of pleasure. All bliss and all enjoyment is in Krishna, and He's attracting everyone. So Yato is Krishna, and Anvayad is saying this is referring to that pleasure potency. When we say Krishna is the reservoir of pleasure, what is that pleasure is source? The source of that pleasure is Srimati Radharani. She is Ladini Shakti. Ladini Shakti is energy, and Ladini, Alad. Alad means to give bliss. So Radharani is Anvayad. Yato Anvayad. She is giving this bliss to Krishna. Then Itarata. So Anvayad specifically, maybe Sanatan Prabhu, you can write in a blue pen. Or use the blue pen. And under each word we'll write now Jiva Goswami's definition. So Yato, you can write Krishna.
Top of is better maybe.
Yeah, you can write on top. It's a good idea. Write on top. So write Krishna, and then underneath. Oh, sorry. The next one, Anvayad. You can write Ladini Shakti. So Ladini Shakti means, as we know, this is that potency which is there only to give pleasure to Krishna. Itaratas, Jiva Goswami is saying, this means Krishna's eternal beloved, Srimati Radharani. So you can write just Radhika. Okay? So then Krishna, Jiva Goswami teaches what is Yatha. Yatha means from whom. Then he says Adyasya. So Janma Dyasya. So he makes Adi and Asya into one word, and he says what is the meaning of Adyasya. So on top of Adi and Asya together you can write Madhurya Rasa. Okay, so he says this is the mellow of Madhurya Rasa. So that's why we're talking about Adi-rasa is Madhurya Rasa. And the whole purpose of the creation of everything is ultimately to give Krishna this enjoyment in Madhurya Rasa through Ladini Shakti Srimati Radhika. That's the ultimate purpose of existence.
Wow.
Okay? It's beautiful, huh? That's why we say Krishna is, the absolute truth is by himself, for himself. He's not doing the creation to like play around or to punish us. People think God is, if there is a God, he's only doing this because he's cruel father and he's like throwing his son into hell and making him suffer. That's not why he's creating this world, and that's not why his purpose for anything. Ultimately, the entire purpose of creation and everything is only for Krishna to taste this Madhurya Rasa, and Radharani is offering it to Krishna. Because she is Shakti. So Shakti is that energy potency which is making offering to Shaktiman, the potent. So that's why we say Adyasya means Madhurya Rasa. Because Adi Asya means Adi Ras. And we heard Adi Ras, the original Ras, is Madhurya Ras, which means this romantic love. Okay, so then we're going backwards. Janma. Janma means, you can write to manifest. You can write a little bit higher. So, Janma Dyasayaton Vayad Itaratas. What does it mean now? We can read it, okay? So to manifest Madhurya Ras, Janma Dasya, for Krishna, then Srimati Radhika, Ladini Shakti, she is doing all her different activities, everything that we are seeing in creation and in the spiritual world. This is only to give pleasure to Krishna in this rasa. Okay? So then next line we'll go is, so then we can't get in it too deeply today because we don't have time and it's too difficult of a subject for briefly talking about. But the idea is that real Madhurya Ras is Parakya Ras. So above it you can put like an arrow, small arrow. And then write Parakya Rasa. So Parakya Rasa means, just in very, very short form, it means unwedded love. It means or paramour love. So if you have a relationship outside of the normal society structure where they're forced, you're obligated. You know, obligation, Abhirampu. It's like you have responsibility, obligation to love that person. You have obligation to serve that person. It's required of you, it's expected of you. That's like normal kind of love. And it's svakya, it doesn't have so much taste. But parakya means there's no obligation. You don't owe them anything. Society doesn't want you to serve them or to love them. Even you're going against the desire of everyone. You're going against all of society, you're going against everyone's wishes, your family, everyone, and still you have love for that person and you want to only serve them and give them happiness. And that type of love is always increasing, always. As long as you're in parakya ras mood, then it will always increase, because also the danger of this svakya ras is that there can get this kind of like, they have a saying in this world that familiarity breeds contempt. So if you're always with the same person 24 hours a day, then you start to see, oh, this person is doing that, he's doing this. You start to see faults, or your own faults, they start to see, and they start to dislike you. That's in this material world. But if you're in Parakya Ras, it's like there's some separateness, but the love is even more deep, and you're always pulled towards each other. And there's always, if you separate two halves of something, it's like if you separate Romeo and Juliet, and they're always trying to get back together. That's why we always say, the end of the story is happily ever after, right? Happily ever after, in Disney movies, cartoons. They're always trying to meet each other, and there's so many obstacles. And if they finally meet, then it's like, oh, they're living together happily ever after. They don't tell the story after that, because or they're living together, married for a long time, and they'll start fighting, and maybe they even get a divorce, no guarantee. But as long as you're apart from each other, and you're idolizing them, oh, I want to be with them, then they're perfect in your mind. And those few moments you get to meet with them are like heaven. And again, you're pulled apart. Because your nature is like you are one thing. That's why I said, this is the material world is faulty. But in the spiritual world, there's also this separateness. And also there are so many obstacles that are keeping Radha and Krishna apart from each other. Pulling them apart. Jatila, Kutila, even their families. Radharani is married to Abhimanyu. So how can she meet with Krishna? But Yogamaya arranges this Parakya Ras to enhance the pleasure, to enhance the love and affection through the obstacle. Because Radha and Krishna are like one, the example of the chickpea. There's two halves. But if you separate them apart, and they have personality and consciousness, they're always trying to get back together. And that is like the Parakya Ras. How can we go against all obstacles and find some way to have a relationship and love and affection with each other? And then again we are separated. So Parakya Ras is told to be thousands and thousands of times more sweet than Swakya Ras. And real Madhurya Ras is Parakya Ras in Braj. Other kind is like Param Gurudev said, many people were arguing with Param Gurudev. But Param Gurudev said, in Dwarka, the queen's wedded love for Krishna is like Svakya and it's like Dasya. The wife is the servant of the husband. And the husband is like the master. Even in our Vedic society, they say, you should see the husband as God, and you should serve them like they are God, and that is your bhakti, that is your religion, that is your dharma for the wife. And that's why in the West they're fighting against this. That's why the feminist movement, I don't want to be the servant of my husband. I want to be independent. Because this is like service, dasya. This is the nature. The nature is that the wife serves the husband as the servant. That's the proper religious society. Religious life means the wife is serving the husband, and the husband is maintaining the wife with love and affection as the master. The wife is supposed to see the husband as God for her. That's the proper relationship of the husband and wife in society. And they have love and affection also. But ultimately it's based on service. But Parakya Ras, there's no obligation to serve. It's completely free of that obligation, and it's only pure love. Then naturally they're serving each other in that competition of love. Like we talked about. They're trying to increase each other's happiness in a competitive spirit. I want to make them more happy. I want to make them more happy. And then also they will fight. Like we see, Radha and Krishna also have man, or jealous anger for each other. And they also have competitors. Radharani has the other gopis, they are trying to steal away Krishna's love and affection. So this is the idea of Parakya Ras. And it's more sweet. So now we'll go to the next word, Arteshvu. So here we got up to this bit. Now Charteshvu means here and his purposes. So in Jiva Goswami's purport he says Arteshvu means many pastimes. So you can write on top Lila, higher, Lila. And be careful not to smudge the bottom part. And then underneath you can write like many pastimes. Here we can see it's plural, purposes, in the ordinary meaning. But in Jiva Goswami meaning, it means there are many pastimes. So this is, what is the meaning here? Why does it say pastimes? Because to give Parakya Ras and to manifest it and to give this happiness to Krishna, they have to have lila, pastimes. So that through the pastimes, Radharani who is Hladini Shakti, gives Adi-rasa, pleasure to Krishna. She manifests Janma through the Arteshvu, through the pastimes. Then the creation of pleasure for Krishna is given to him by Hladini Shakti Radharani. So therefore we have Janmadas Sayaton Vayat Itaratas Chatesva. How sweet, no? It's like completely different understanding, huh?
Yeah, I think you took the most bottom general explanation and then you just
went to the top.
Everything and just gone direct to the last one.
That's why I said yesterday.
This is not fair.
No, but yesterday we said, what is the lower reality and what is the higher reality?
Yeah, but
we have to understand what is the top.
You're making... it's so sweet, I want to hear this. But careful, it's indigestion. I will have this sugar diabetes.
Diabetes. Again, we have to come down afterwards.
Like a little bit like you put 320 current through me.
But this is Jiva Goswami giving. How can we refuse?
No, of course. No, I repeat. Inside, this is only what I want to hear. But outside, I must to tell this. That this is too much. But inside, it's true. I won't hear only this and nothing else.
Necessary.
So continue. Let's finish line.
Maybe we just finish this top line for today. Otherwise, too much.
Yeah, I need to dress my weird body.
Okay, so let's finish this top line, and then we'll recite it a few more times, and then we'll say it's enough for today. Okay, so then we got up to Charteshva, means the many pastimes. Okay, so then Abhigya. You can write very expert. Because when you perform lila, lila means like sport. One translation of lila is sport. So in a sport, you can have someone who is like very useless, like in soccer or football. One person is like useless, like a tool. One person is expert, like Abhiram. I don't know. So, if you are playing a sport, you want to be expert. Because if you're not expert, it's like, it's not so much fun. And also everyone's thinking, oh, this person, he doesn't know how to play. But sport also means play. If you're having a sport, what are you doing in the sport you're playing? So what are you doing in a lila? What is a pastime? What is the purpose of the pastime? It means you're playing. That's why in Braj, all the Brajbasis, all the Gopas and Gopis, they are like very young, below adolescence. And therefore they're always very happily playing. Because we see when someone is young, this is actually the most natural state of being, to play. But when we grow up and we get older, then we start to have to work. Then we suffer. As long as we're able to play, we're happy. But we want to be expert in playing. So Abhigya means that person who is very expert. And then the last word we'll learn today is Svarat. Svarat means Sva, you can break it in half. So we say Sva here, write Sva, and then put a dash.
You just say meaning I just
So Sva means Radhika, in her company. Sva means in Radhika's company. And Rat means shining with great splendor. Sva means like to her. So it means in her sangha, in her association. And Rat means Krishna is shining. You can write Krishna is shining. Svarat. So we'll end with that, is that the first line is now Janma. We can say it together, okay? In we'll do it in the melody of.
We're talking about different shlokas.
We'll talk about it. We'll recite it a few times now in this next other melody, yeah?
Yeah.
And now that we know it, so now you can see. Sanatan Prabhu wrote it very nicely by Atul's inspiration. Above is higher meaning, and below is this world, like another meaning, two meanings. So by Jiva Goswami's mercy, we can get a glimpse of this. So I'll sing it, and then we can sing it together. So you listen to it once,
Послушайте раз, а потом
and then we'll do it together. And while I'm singing it, try to think about the meaning. Choose the top meaning, the bottom meaning, or both meanings.
There's no choice.
You're going for the top meaning, huh?
пытайтесь
Okay.
ориентироваться на смысл стиха.
Janmadhyasya yatonvayadi taratas charteshva vigyasvarat. So maybe it's easier if we do it a bit faster.
Yeah.
Janmadhyasya yatonvayadi taratas charteshva vigyasvarat. Again. Janmadhyasya yatonvayadi taratas charteshva vigyasvarat. 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 So then we'll go to the next line, because otherwise you have to hear the down part. The melody goes up, then it has to also come down. Okay, so we'll just sing it. I'll say it myself, and then we'll do it together, and we'll think tomorrow what will we learn about the real meaning. Okay. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye Muyanti Atsuraya. So I'm going to sing from the first line, and then I'll sing the second line, and we'll do that a few times. Okay. Janmadhyasya yatonvayadi taratas charteshva vigyasvarat. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye Muyanti Atsuraya. Together. Janmadhyasya yatonvayadi taratas charteshva vigyasvarat. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye Muyanti Atsuraya. Again. Janmadhyasya yatonvayadi taratas charteshva vigyasvarat. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye Muyanti Atsuraya. Tejo varimridam yata vinimayo yatra trishargo mrisha damna svena sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi. Janmadhyasya yatonvayadi taratas charteshva vigyasvarat. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye Muyanti Atsuraya. Tejo varimridam yata vinimayo yatra trishargo mrisha damna svena sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi. Satyam param dhimahi. Jai ho. Vanchakapudrivasya kripasinurvibhacha Pitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. 2 minutes. Any questions?
Вопросы?
Adi-kavi. Kavi is poet. Adi-kavi is super Gosai.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Tomorrow we'll do next. But Abhiram Prabhu is soon leaving.
When?
8 August.
Okay, so we have some time. Leela also going.
Yeah.
Where? Russia?
They're going in Lithuania army.
You're going now? You said before you wouldn't go.
No, of course not.
He's going.
Just teasing him.
Going to
Because,
Madhuri Kunj.
he tried to escape army.
Yeah, I tried.
Now he's in Mahaprabhu's army. Okay, Haribo. So tomorrow, huh?
Lithuania now need you too much because in danger. Russia very aggressive.
Very good.